And also, if you're looking at getting into Android, take a move. We've really been doing some great classwork with Udacity. So Udacity's got both their developing Android apps, which is for starting as sort of a new Android developer, as well as a UX designer for mobile developers class that goes on, talks about Android and mobile web. And it's really valuable. So I think one of the things that matter a lot is your user experience in your application. And I think people are really starting to push the boundaries now in sub-Saharan Africa in terms of the design of their apps. But it really helps if you know the building blocks, if you know the design patterns that are already there. So if you have a great idea, you don't want to have to reinvent everything. You just want to take the shortest path to building and getting your great idea out there. And not having to reinvent the way you implement navigation through menus or the way people sign in and out of your app. The way people handle different settings, all those things, there are design patterns for those. They're very easy to pick up and use. And so you can focus all your time innovating on that one thing that really matters in your app. So I recommend checking out those classes. You do have to pay to do the classes, but you can download the courses for free and browse them. Again, for an Android developer, using the Google Play badge, we've done some research, and it shows that people are 47% more likely to download when the app's in your market. So, if you've got a website for your app, like instead of just downloading the APK directly, driving people through the Play Store, getting them a chance to appear there, and obviously posting your app in the Play Store has a lot of other benefits, right? Ratings, promotion, people being able to see how many installs your app has, which creates some social proof, more likely to download, those kinds of things. One-click installs, these are pretty awesome, and I think these are kind of an under-recognized feature in the Google platform. So if you've got a website and a mobile application, like let's say you're a news site, people can sign into your site to leave comments and stuff. If you have Google Plus as one of the sign-in options, when somebody creates an account on your site, the next thing you can show them is a prompt to install your Android application. And all they have to do is say, so you can see a little window like this pop up over the screen, and it just says choose which phone you want to install it to. You choose whichever phone you prefer. Like if they've got one phone, it's just one, but you can choose a tablet or whatever else. They hit OK, and that's it. They go back to the website, and on the back end, Google pushes the app to their phone and installs locally. So the next time they pick up their phone, now they have your app installed. So that can be a pretty powerful method for getting website users to convert into Android users. And I really recommend the Google Developers YouTube channel. So this is one of those things that it's got a lot of things happening there already. We're going to be spending more time filming developers in Africa and creating kind of success stories and features of what's happening here. But it also has developer tutorials in there, so lots of walkthroughs on everything from coding walkthroughs on how to use Google Play game services to improve your game, to awesome Android UX success stories, and kind of showing people who've taken the Android UX basics and really innovated and created some truly exceptional applications on top of that. In addition, we do previews in there, so things like over here you can see there's an Android L developer preview, which is going to be our next release coming up, and talking about how the camera API works. As well as the workshops we did at Google I/O, which is our big annual developer conference in San Francisco. We had all the Google I/O content that's posted there. It's all available for you to view, and also I'm going to be leaving a copy behind at the hyperkeys here. So there'll be 16 gigs of YouTube videos to watch. So if you ever want to check any of those out or get a copy, they'll be here for you. So yeah, this channel is awesome. It's a resource I think people are still learning about, and we're also increasing the amount of content we're producing for it. So check that one out. I mentioned earlier, you don't really want to reinvent the wheel with your applications. So one of the things that is the Android Design Guide can be really helpful. Again, I'll put the link in my file, but it's got the sort of overall guiding UI principles of Android, like why Android works the way it does. It's got the different, what are called design patterns and building blocks. These are sort of the ready-to-use elements you can pull into your application. There's code samples available as well. But again, it just lets you focus on being able to use existing standards, not have to worry about reinventing that stuff, and focus on that innovation that really matters in that position. And I think that's something that we're just, I think now I'm starting to see a real shift over the last, even the last 6 months, towards an increasing amount of design pattern adoption in app development in Africa. So it's really great to see that. For a while, people were sort of sometimes reinventing their own user interfaces, and now people are starting to pull in more and more of the design patterns. So it's fantastic to see. Let's see another. We've seen a bunch of different apps in that space, like News24 in South Africa recently released their elections app. They did a total redesign of what they were doing. They used a whole, all the kind of standard design patterns and something like that. Kind of making sure to remember that you live in a multi-screen world. So one of the things is really looking at multiple screen sizes. Obviously with Android, you have multiple sizes of tablet screens and phone screens. But in particular, being aware of design for a tablet and design for handset. That's a really important thing for, and sort of right lately, it's really been the minimum bar for Android app design. And then if you're on the mobile side of things, looking at responsive design. So getting your sites to be able to scale to all these different screen sizes. So you looks great on mobile, looks great on desktop, and you're able to make that scale. And while also making sure you've got compatibility for feature phones, which I know is always a thing in Africa. So this site here, it says it's actually, and I've got the link in my Google Plus page as well. It says it's about designing for smartphones, but there's also a great section on how to break things out for feature phones and different ways you can deliver a great smartphone experience for Android users and that growing audience, and still maintaining good compatibility for feature phone users. And then if you're looking at taking your Android application and getting further out, you can obviously, there's a localization checklist, and we even have a translation service available through Google where you can actually feed in all your app content and pay for it to be translated. So if you want to reach more markets, if you want to reach more languages, that's a great thing to use. So yeah, definitely look at it. It's a great way to expand reach. So running everywhere, we talked a little bit about popular screen sizes already. There's a really great feature in Google Chrome where you can actually do remote web app debugging. So you can take your Android phone, hook it up to your laptop through USB, and be able to actually do all your debugging and all your kind of editing with development tools in Chrome, and view the actual experience on your phone as well. So you can be tweaking things on the fly.
It's like Selenium or something, isn't it?
What?
It's like debugging with Selenium, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And in addition, there's also obviously the dev tools where you can preview and feed it different user agent strings and look at how they render on different website types. And then for Android app developers, using the support library to ensure you've got your backwards compatibility. Obviously, there's lots of different versions of Android out there, so making sure I always recommend people focus on looking great on the current. The current version of Android, and then kind of look and make sure you're backwards compatible. Because if you look at this thing called the Android dashboard, where you can see which versions of Android are available in the world, and you kind of see KitKat's growing very quickly. Obviously, there's other versions out there too. So really focus on the current version, so you don't get caught unawares when the new versions are growing and you're still focused on the old ones. The support library makes that quite easy, and the developer dashboard lists all the screen sizes and versions that are in use worldwide.
It would be nice if you could get that working without a USB cable.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially, let's say you load it to something in Google Chrome, let's say an extension, and you are just running your app in the browser, and you're debugging it on your laptop without connecting the two together, probably over Wi-Fi or something.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I think for me, USB is always easy because I like my phone to be charging while I'm debugging on it. Otherwise, I tend to kill the battery. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And then making sure to measure everything. So data-driven decisions are really critical for your app. Whether you're getting feedback from the users through your data community, decisions based on that data, or using Google Analytics and looking inside your app and seeing people how people are signing out, logging in, where you've got pages converting to sign-ups, this kind of funnel analysis. Look at how long people stay on the page for website users and where they're going. So I think you probably all know this already, but never hurts to reemphasize the value of data-driven decisions. And if you want to go further, there's a bunch of great funnel analysis tools and things like that to look at what your conversion funnel looks like from when a user visits your site to when they sign up to when they perform whatever their key actions are. That's making a purchase or something else. And I also really recommend pushing the boundaries. So material design is something that Google announced at I/O. This is our latest design initiative. So we've got some things like paper elements, and this is sort of going to be the new look of Android, but it's also going to be supported on the web through Polymer. I can actually give you some live demos of this stuff and show it in action, because one of the key things is that everything's really animated. But this is the first time we've really unified